I believe that one of the biggest falsehoods that we believe as kids is that heroes never get scared. You watch the action movies where the guy is walking away from the explosion. He shoots the bad guy. He saves the girl. He's on the run. His heart's thumping, but he just gets through it. He's not afraid. He just wipes the sweat off his brow. What I'm here to tell you today is that being afraid is not a reason that you shouldn't do it. Because for the longest time, that's exactly what I did. I'm going to tell you a little story about something I experienced in the past week, or at least something I witnessed. I live in New York City. It's a huge city with millions of people. Plenty of people to be afraid of, if you will. I was on the train home pretty late at night. I get on the train, there's these three dudes. One of them is like passed out on the bench. I think nothing of it. You see teenagers on the train all the time doing whatever, so I don't really care. As we approach one stop, two of his buddies start to walk out of the train. They look around. They wake up their friend. They tell him, hey, wake up. And then they both come back in. The same thing happens a second time at the next stop. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys walks up to a woman standing in the corner by herself, snatches her bag, and tries to make a getaway for it. And this is all happening 20 feet right in front of me. The only person missing from this story so far is another man who was right next to the dudes who were trying to rob this lady. Immediately, he gets up, grabs the bag, and tells them to get out of there, and they just run off. He gives the lady back her bag, and at this point, I'm kind of in shock because I almost just witnessed a robbery. But what I saw next was probably the most interesting thing out of everything I'd seen so far that night. The dude was shaking and praying, and also comforting the lady who almost got robbed. And the whole time in my head, I realized this guy was terrified too. These dudes who were looking up and down the platform, they were looking for cops to see if they'd get chased when they robbed someone on that train. It could have been me. It could have been the guy. And it ended up being the easiest possible target, which was the lady sitting in the corner. What would I have done if I was sitting where that guy was sitting? Would I have gotten up? Of course, and I think this is almost how every dude's brain works. You see something that pumps you full of adrenaline, and then it happens and it's over. And then you think to yourself, man, if it was me, I would have. If I were in that situation, I wouldn't have let that happen. Think to yourself, really, would you have let that happen? Because in your head you think, well, this is a dangerous situation. I'm afraid of stepping in. If you're scared, you shouldn't walk towards it. But the guy who ended up being the hero, he was terrified. He was trembling afterwards. He was praying. If these guys would have had a knife on them or something, he could have lost his life that day. But even though he was terrified, he still stepped in. Why? Because of courage. It's not about never feeling fear. It's about feeling the fear and still walking towards the danger. Instead of running away, or what I've done in a lot of cases, which is stand still and watch as it happens, you walk towards it. Now, the bravest people among us, they run towards it. But you and I, and especially you if you're watching this video, the next time you experience something like that, you gotta walk towards it. This is not a video of me encouraging you to be a vigilante. You are not Batman. You could very well lose your life in situations like this. But if you're in a situation where you're not in immediate danger, or if someone weaker than you is in immediate danger, then if you're interested in doing the right thing, walk towards the danger. Help the person that needs help. Because if it were you or someone who you know would be vulnerable in that situation, you'd want someone to help them out too. And the best thing you can be is that someone. Something as simple as what I did today, which was I went indoor rock climbing. There's a room in the indoor rock climbing place I went to that's really high. It's about 50 feet high, something crazy like that. About halfway up, you look down, you're like, wow, you know you'll be safe if you fall, but it's still scary going up. And it's easy to give up and say, I went far enough. What you need to do in a situation where you feel that fear bubbling up inside of you is continue walking no matter how slow, keep moving forward. It's kind of one thing for me to explain it, and it's a different thing to do it, but you'll know exactly what I mean the next time you're in a situation like that. I don't know who this video is for, but I hope it's for you. And if you feel like it helped you out, or someone who you know could use it, which I know you have a friend who could, send it to them. See ya.